Hey, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm doing a review of the Tovala 2nd generation smart toaster oven. Now, during this little B-roll footage you guys are looking at, you might notice something a little strange. If you haven't already, want to take a guess? Give it a shot. Still haven't noticed it? Well, you'll notice now that the text on the front has been worn off. And this happened incredibly easily, so for that very reason, I do not recommend this product. That's right, I'm saying it right off the bat near the beginning of this review. But let me just explain how this happens. So in a kitchen, naturally things get messy, stuff gets spilled, so a bit of sauce spilled in the front of the toaster oven. So with a wet paper towel, with no soap in it, just simple water, just a little bit of water, to prevent this very same issue from happening, I kind of cleaned it off and it happened anyway. So later on, I experimented with just my thumb, my clean, dry thumb, just kind of pressed a little bit and kind of turned to see if it still happened. It still happens anyway. So clearly, the quality control at Tovala is absolutely terrible, and I don't recommend it for this very reason. But for those of you curious, let's continue on with the review anyway, because this is a smart toaster oven, so I'll go over all those cool features and how it works as a regular basic toaster oven. So this toaster oven is fairly large, measuring in at 18.5 by 12.32 by 11.75 inches. On top of that, for safety reasons, due to heat buildup, Tovala recommends leaving 6 inches of clearance above and 3 inches of clearance behind and on the sides. And that's mainly because while the toaster oven is in use, the sides do get kind of hot as well as the top. Basically put, this will take up a decent amount of space on your counter. The oven where the food is actually cooked or steamed or whatever is about 0.5 cubic feet, which is pretty decent for space. In my experience, you can fit enough food to feed 2 adults, but that's pretty much it. There's a removable tray that comes included. The cooking rack can be placed at 3 different heights, although Tovala does recommend you usually keep it at the bottom rack. That's just a recommendation right out of the box. And inside the toaster oven at the very bottom is a crumb tray, and on the outside, underneath the toaster oven itself, is a drip tray. The exterior of the toaster oven is primarily stainless steel with some minor plastic pieces. Now here's the thing, this toaster oven goes for $299 US, but usually on the Tovala website it's on sale, so it's probably best to just go to their website and buy it if you really want to. Here in the Canada, which is interesting because our currency is way worse than the US dollar, it's cheaper here. I got it for $249 last year. I've been using this toaster oven for many months. I purchased it directly from Amazon website. Now here's the thing about using it outside of the US. There's a couple of catches. The first is that it's not meant to be used outside the US. I'm not sure why it's being sold directly through Amazon, but it was. Because in order to set up the toaster oven, to even use it at all, out of the box, you have to set it up with the app and get it connected to Wi-Fi. After that point, once it's connected to Wi-Fi the one time, you can use it offline like a dummy toaster oven. But getting the app is not easy because it's not available in the Google Play Store unless you reside in the US. So I was able to find the Tovala app for Android on the internet, sideload it, and get it set up and working. So that's the first catch. So be careful if you're purchasing this outside of the US. The other thing is that this comes with a meal kit option. So Tovala has their own meal kit kind of preparation service where they send you a meal, $11.99 per a meal, US dollars. And it's basically fresh ingredients with the amount you need to make a perfectly meal for an individual. Now, I cannot sign up for this service because I'm in Canada, but I have read a lot of testimonies online and people have said this service is expensive for a single meal, but the taste and quality is great and it always turns out fantastic with the toaster oven. But the meal service is an add-on, it's not a necessity, okay? I'm reviewing the toaster oven, it's just that the meal kit is more of an add-on feature that Tovala happens to offer. So the meal kit instructions actually has a barcode that you can scan on the toaster oven itself and it'll know exactly what you're cooking. So what it'll basically do is set the heating temperature and settings automatically for you, and all you have to do is hit start. So for example, depending on what you're making, the toaster oven, when you scan the barcode, will know, hey, depending on the dish this person is making, I need to bake for 375 degrees for 23 minutes, and then automatically kick into broil for 4 minutes at high setting. So you can mix and match broil, steam, and baking all into a single consecutive steps, one after the other, which is pretty awesome. Now this toaster oven can bake, broil, steam, toast, and even reheat food if you want to. Now I did mention earlier that to use this toaster oven out of the box, it needs to connect with Wi-Fi the first time, and afterwards, if you want to use smart functions, it needs a 2.4 gigahertz signal. It will not connect to 5 gigahertz. After the initial setup is done through Wi-Fi in the app, after that, if it does ever lose internet connectivity, then you can use it as a dummy toaster oven from there on out. So for the sake of this review, I have done the initial setup process a handful of times, disconnecting it, reconnecting it, and the setup process is incredibly easy. Although sometimes randomly, when you're looking for the toaster oven over Bluetooth for your phone to find it the first time, it'll show the toaster oven listed about 3-4 times. I'm not sure why it does that, and if you tap to hit the first one to sync with Wi-Fi, it won't work. Tap the second one, won't work. Tap the third one, and then it might work. So you might encounter that issue. It's annoying, but it will eventually work. When connected to Wi-Fi, you can start scanning grocery items for instant heating options. For example, if you have chicken burgers and it happens to be in the Tovala database, simply scan the barcode and it'll know what temperature and cook time to set at. As of this recording, the Tovala database has more than 750 grocery items ready for scanning. If for some reason something doesn't exist in the Tovala database, simply scan the grocery item barcode in the app, put in the cooking settings, and the toaster oven will know what preset settings to place in the next time. It's pretty neat. You can even put in settings like bake for 20 minutes and then broil for 2 minutes, all within a single cycle. You don't have to get up and manually switch to broil afterwards. It'll do it non-stop. When your food is ready, you'll get an alert on your app saying, hey, your food is ready, come pick it up. One thing you cannot do is start the heating process from the app. So you can, scan your barcode, hit cook settings in the app, whatever you want. But in order to actually start heating, you have to get up and press the start button on the toaster oven, and that's done for good reason. Safety. There are 3 circular button controls on the front. The top is choosing the heating style: bake, broil, steam, toast, and yes, even a reheat button. The second is temperature settings in increments of 25 degrees Fahrenheit for bake, 5 levels for toast, and 2 levels for broil. The third section is duration. There's a 4th section without a display. It's simply to start and stop the heating process. When pressing any button, there are individual LED displays showing what you're choosing. This kind of becomes a disappointing workaround for the label smudging issue mentioned at the beginning of the video. The bake and broil symbols are confusing, whereas the steam and toast symbols are self-explanatory. The max temperature the toaster oven can reach is 450 degrees Fahrenheit and cook for a maximum 100 minutes. The average preheat time to reach 350 degrees is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Above the buttons at the top right is where water is poured for the steam function. It takes about 8 ounces in total. In terms of getting food ready, like just the general heating performance of the toaster oven itself, it does a pretty good job. I'm actually quite impressed, to be honest. The only time it's really failed me is when I tried to steam hot dogs. It kind of got them too hot, I think, because they started to warp. I had to turn them off a minute early. They tasted fine, it's just they didn't look that appealing. Everything else has worked just fine, whether you're boiling eggs, or steaming eggs rather, or cooking anything else, it works fantastic. We've never had an issue once. In fact, this appliance has become a staple item in our kitchen because we're a small young family, and one of the most popular items in our house is getting chicken nuggets and fries ready, and it's just awesome. We use it more often than our oven, in fact. And that's pretty much a wrap to that. Now there's a couple of things you might notice compared to, say, the June toaster oven, which is probably its main competitor and kind of not. It's a main competitor because it's another smart toaster oven. It's not as competitor because it's a way higher price point, like almost double, I think, at the minimum base level, and then it can reach up to like $1,000 depending on which model you choose. There's some smart functions that June has that this doesn't. One is, for example, an interior camera. It's an overall fantastic smart toaster oven considering its low price point compared to the June smart toaster oven, which is its main competitor. The quality control of the label smudging, though, is incredibly disappointing. That is like quality control 101. The most basic thing of the toaster oven, the labels, is smudging easily like it's nothing, but they patted down the smart functions well? Doesn't make any sense. Overall, a pretty good toaster oven if the label smudging thing didn't happen, but it does. So that's the end of my video. Check out my social links in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.